that saved the bacon, but watching her eat a plate of nachos nearly doused Cody's growing affection for her. Cody, there was a chili nacho cheese incident that nearly derailed this courtship.
I know, he was so silly.
Did you even realize
that? Down any relationship, please. Me wolfing down nachos, come on.
Cody wrote, Christine was the cutest girl in the world, although she was a little chubby.
I was pretty chubby.
But does size matter to you, Cody? I mean, were you grossed out by, you said she was chubby and she was eating the nacho cheese?
I will be honest, I was not attracted to Christine in any kind of physical sense. I mean, I look back in retrospect and I wonder, was that fair? But I can't even look there because we have children together, we have a life together, we have a relationship, and we found our sweet spot.
So you were not physically attracted to Christine?
That's an understatement.
You were grossed out by her?
I won't say that, but the nachos grossed me out enough to make me go, okay, I'm waiting.
How does it feel to hear her? This is horrible.
Christine and David trolling Cody. Christine recently posted a pic of beer and Skittles for snacks with the hashtag Beer and Skittles, reminding fans of Cody's Beer and Skittles rant during a rageful confessional, one of the episodes of this season 18 of the Sister Wives show. Everyone's fussing about it being cringeworthy, but come on, this dude publicly labeled her as off-putting and tagged their intimate moments as mandatory duties for everyone to hear. She's totally in the clear to share her quirky snaps. It's amusing and lighthearted, and hey, that's just her vibe. Dude, the moment he narrated their initial outing and threw around the word disgust to depict his reaction to her munching, man, that was some of the craziest TV ever. I bet half of the nation was just sitting there, jaws dropped, like, really, dude? He had the audacity to broadcast globally, including to his own offspring, his lack of affection and revulsion towards their mother, then has the nerve to blame Christine for supposedly swaying his kids' opinions against him. It's a wonder any of the kids still acknowledge him. If anyone dared to utter such words about my mom, I'd be making collect calls from behind bars. Absolutely. Christine didn't need to say a word against Cody. His own deeds broadcasted his true character louder than any words could do to their kids. Particularly considering Christine's genes are the reigning champs in their gene pool, if he's got beef with Christine's appearance, then what lens is he using to gaze upon all their offspring, right? Cody could seriously benefit from an internal monologue upgrade. Or maybe someone needs to give him a gentle nudge or a firm thump to remind him that not every whimsical thought needs a VIP pass to the vocal cords. I'd think twice before confessing I share a male route with him, much less a family tree. Recall Christine pointing out Cody's minimal investment in her offsprings. This was glaringly evident when he chose to skip Isabel's surgery but had no qualms attending a wedding. The moment he popped in during her departure for college, it almost seemed like a light bulb moment for him, as if he just realized he had breezed past his remarkable young woman's life. But then again, it's debatable whether he's even capable of such self-reflection. It's quite the comedy that Cody wasn't fond of Christine, or even Isabel for that matter, yet he's utterly fixated on their decision to walk away. His sour grapes are showing, and I must say, it's quite the delightful spectacle for him and Robin, given the kind of heartache and emotional pain and mental confusion Cody, and Robin, put the OG3 wives and OG13 kids through. It's downright astonishing how much Cody drones on about Christine, especially with Robin right there. And to watch Robin's expressions, it's like a live theater show of envy, considering her long-standing jealousy of Christine during their shared marital saga. I've come across information suggesting that autism tends to run in families. It wouldn't shock me if Cody's the source because, let's face it, the man is a walking, talking bundle of idiosyncrasies, except of the most toxic kind. Alternatively, he gives off vibes of someone juggling unmanaged or self-medicated ADHD with a generous sprinkle of narcissistic tendencies. It's baffling how he seems utterly oblivious to the atmosphere of a room, lacking any semblance of social intuition. Unless you're as direct as a sledgehammer, he appears clueless about the inappropriateness of his words or actions. It's staggering that he genuinely believes those kids don't have minds of their own. They're all adults now, with the exception of Truly. But even she's mature enough to grasp the harsh and unkind things Codex spews about her mom. Every one of those kids ought to arrange a meeting with Codex and Sabin and spell it out. Crystal clear that it's their own actions, not the moms, that have driven the kids away. Truly's young, but she's got an old soul, picking up on all the shenanigans her dad and Robin are up to. It's clear she's got their number, even though it's a real pity that Cody's still wreaking havoc in her little world. Luckily, she's now surrounded by folks who shower her with the love and care she deserves. Picture the ripple effect on his daughter's self-image and their future bonds, all because he openly proclaimed their mom was a turnoff. It's like he planted a garden of insecurities and is surprised it's not blooming with confidence. It's tragic that he squandered a quarter century of Christine's life for his own ambitions, aiming to be crowned the king of polygamy royalty. At least Christine's walked away with her kids, her real treasures, from the deal. That's a winning point for her. Cody achieved a level of royalty that's on par with his mastery of dance moves, which is to say, he's more of a frantic court jester on the dance floor than a king. I found immense delight in the subtle disapproval Christine's father Rex cast upon Cody. It carried significant weight, especially considering it came from someone with status in the AUB polygamous hierarchy. I'm pretty convinced that Sabin harbored a green-eyed monster of jealousy towards Christine. She seemed to whisper little tales into Cody's ears, painting Christine as the mean girl of the sister-wife squad. I reckon he began his verbal tirade against Christine just to score brownie points with his new toy, Snobbin. And yet, she stuck it out with him for ages. Both of them did. The real kicker? Cody was clueless enough to broadcast his revulsion for her to the world, while she wisely kept her cards close to her chest. Munching on those nachos during their pre-marriage meeting was likely the final moment Christine truly ever felt satisfied in Cody's company. That is, until she waved goodbye to Cody. The sight of that chubby girl eating repulsed me, says Cody. His confession on national television just amped up my aversion to him. Before, he was just odd, but after that tale, he was utterly revolting. They didn't really go on a date. He was just supervising her youth group. Christine was just a girl finally getting a bite after a long car ride. Yet he labeled a girl with whom he had no romantic ties as repulsive. At that time, Christine had even sought her family's support to persuade him to tie the knot, but he insisted this very effort turned him off the idea of marriage. Cody's pattern of leveraging his authoritative role with the church to court underage girls just as they reach adulthood is evident. Through this role as a youth chaperone at their church, he encountered both the underage girls he pursued as well as Christine, who was becoming a barely legal adult. Utilizing Mary as his wingwoman, he subtly closed the gap with these girls. Although Christine was around 20 or 21 at the time of their marriage, her history with Cody stretched back years, while Christine was just reaching a barely legal age, having set her sights on him from their initial meeting. The distinction between pursuing and grooming underage girls seems dangerously hazy in this scenario. When he first approached that underage girl, he said he was courting. He was around 22 or 23, right before he tied the knot with Janelle in 93, just shy of turning 24. Then there was another underage girl just before Robin, with Cody pushing 40 years age. Christine and Cody united when she was 22 and he was 25. But Cody's stories are like a kaleidoscope, ever shifting. Once in a tell-all, he spun a yarn about seeking her dad's blessing to court her, a real knight in shining armor, he implied. But the truth is a slippery fish in Cody's hands. This saga, or rather a tragicomedy, sheds light on the murky depths of such communities. In a world that made sense, a date with a nacho-snubbing nincompoop would end with a swift farewell. It's truly dreadful. Initially, Christine attempts to brush it off with humor, a classic love to keep from crying scenario. But the probing host pushes on and Cody confesses his lack of physical attraction to her, leaving her visibly heartbroken. Meanwhile, there sits Robin with a smirk that could curdle milk, reveling in the awkwardness what a scoundrel Cody is. Observe how Christine didn't dissolve into tears like Robber. She didn't turn the whole moment into an over-the-top spectacle or storm out in a huff. This is precisely why Christine wins our hearts. She keeps it real without transforming every situation into an emotional soap opera. Who in their right mind just stands by, side-eyeing you, Robin, Mary, and Janelle, while their spouse publicly roasts another woman? Let's be real. My partner and I enjoy our fair share of TLC show roasts on our sofa. But if he ever dared to single out a woman like that, making her feel lower than low in front of an audience, well, let's just say I'd be the first to call him out with a hearty, "Excuse you, what on earth are you on about?" But then again, my hubby knows better. Observe with a keen eye. Not a single one showed a shred of compassion for Christine. Instead, there's a hint of glee in their eyes. It really gets the wheels turning about the envy bubbling beneath the surface at that time. Oh, the stormy seas of tension among these ladies. Admittedly, there might be a silver lining for Mary. It seems she was caught off guard by the whirlwind turn of this bizarre chat. Shock and awe painted her face as things spiraled into the realm of the absurd. If memory serves, it was Mary who slammed the brakes on that runaway train of a conversation, schooling Cody on the art of discretion. A moment of gratitude for her, considering Janelle and Robin seemed glued to their seats in silence. Janelle's chuckle was a sight to behold, especially juxtaposed against the audacity of Cody's remarks, delivered with all the finesse of his makeshift white-skin hairband. Not really. I mean his balding forehead that looked like a white-skin hairband. Kidding. I can't help but liberally body-shame Cody since he so freely body-shames his wives. Janelle's effervescent and happy-looking smile felt super creepily similar to watching The Prisoner of the Prophet, the same cultish vibes, but a different zip code. There's this eerie, enforced positivity, reminiscent of Warren Jeff's ex-wife, forcibly curbing her frown into a smile, a haunting echo of their indoctrination. Maybe Janelle's laughter was a coping mechanism, a buffer against the glare of the public eye, because let's face it, polygamy's poster girl has standards to maintain. In fact, in that infamous clip, Christine's jaw-dropping realization was palpable. Cody's revulsion wasn't just a fleeting sentiment inked in a book, but a bitter reality she had to swallow live. It's as if Cody, emboldened by his infatuation with Robin, found the audacity to broadcast his disdain, uncaring of the fractures it would cause. Was it a newfound disregard stemming from the kid's growing independence, or a twisted display of his distorted hierarchy of love? This man, who once dissolved Mary's ring as if it were nothing, who placed Robin on a pedestal so high it dwarfed the rest, crossed into uncharted territory of heartlessness, broadcasting your wife's humiliation for the world to see. That's not just a low blow. It's a sinking into the abyss of inhumanity. Cody's behavior is absolutely dreadful. I'd like to think that Janelle's smile wasn't a jab, but a defense mechanism. Maybe she anticipated a sugar-coated version of this distasteful tale, not the bitter truth, served raw and unfiltered. Could her smile be a mask, concealing her own discomfort, knowing well that Cody's shallow judgments didn't spare her either? Or perhaps it's a twist of irony. Her grin reflected a silent acknowledgement of Cody's contradictory affections. What secrets and stories could that smile be guarding? Honestly, it's a puzzle wrapped in an enigma. Janelle's expression could be a blend of discomfort and amusement, a cocktail that's hard to decipher. Maybe she was riding the high of Cody's bizarre charm, and in that tipsy state, everything seemed hilariously absurd, even Cody's cringeworthy confessions. But deep down, I can't picture Janelle being intentionally mean. Perhaps she was just caught up in the whirlwind of Cody's Kool-Aid effect. Or maybe she was still dizzy from a wild ride on the Cody coaster the night before. Who can really say? That chuckle might just be her way of coping with the spaghetti circus that is Cody's head and the bizarre words his head spits out every now and then when he happens to open his mouth, which is all the time because he doesn't know to keep his mouth shut at all until the cameras are turned off. It's like a twisted game show where the prize is Cody's fleeting affection, and the competition is as fierce as it is ridiculous. The whole scene plays out like a soap opera where the actors forgot their lines and just went with whatever popped into their heads. There's Cody, the king of cringe, doling out insults like they're compliments. And then there's Janelle, possibly grinning not because she's amused, but maybe because she's mentally redecorating her living room and tuning out Cody's nonsense. It's like she's thinking, sure, Cody, keep yapping. Meanwhile, I'm planning where to put my new sofa. As for Cody, he's just doing his thing, giving a masterclass in Narcissism 101, unaware that he's the only one buying what he's selling. Whenever Cody starts his ramblings, it's like my brain hits the snooze button hard. Honestly, he looked like he's been through the ringer during the tell-all. Not exactly the poster child for wellness. And the jaw-dropping revelations? I mean, announcing on national TV that you were repulsed by your spouse before you even tied the knot? That's a level of audacity that's almost impressive, in a terribly awful way. It's like he's on a personal mission to redefine the term bad decision making. And let's not even start on the erratic behavior that seemed to intensify with the move to Vegas and then Flagstaff. If mood swings were an Olympic sport, Cody would be taking home the gold. It's like watching a soap opera where the lead character is both the villain and the comic relief, but nobody's laughing. The move to Flagstaff wasn't as impromptu as it seemed. It was more like Robin's son Dayton got his college acceptance letter, and Robin couldn't bear the thought of him going solo, so she nudged Cody towards Flagstaff. Cody, ever the wind vane, didn't need much convincing. He was already eyeing a change of scenery, but played his cards close to his chest, roping in the other wives under false pretenses. Robin and Cody were in cahoots about the real motive behind the move, with Robin likely swearing Cody to secrecy. The same kind of secrecy that shrouded their wedding dress shopping escapade, where Cody, the accidental fashionista, ended up choosing Robin's dress. Quite the covert operation for a family that's supposed to share everything, right? The Flagstaff move always had me scratching my head until I stumbled upon Hunter's revelation in a video. Turns out it was all about Dayton's college acceptance, and he wanted some distance from the family nest. Poor kid, I totally buy it. Robin's kids must be going through a roller coaster of emotions, with a mom like that and Cody as a stepdad, especially considering Cody's fiery side. I doubt their household is all rainbows and unicorns. It's probably more like thunderstorms and dragons. As for their frequent moves, it seems like Robert and Greedy had turned chaos into a hobby. Every time the OG3 Vibes and OG13 kids got too comfortable and confident in a new location, Robber and Greedy had to enforce a family move to ensure all the OGs felt equally destabilized and at Robber and Greedy's mercy. Greedy's comments about David in the good man's speech were quite the pot calling the kettle black moment. Who is Cody to dictate how someone falls in love? David is probably watching Christine handle Cody's nonsense for Truly's sake, and who can blame him for throwing a few playful jabs at Cody? It's like watching a sitcom and David is clearly in on the joke, having a grand old time. I doubt Christine twisted his arm to join in. He's probably loving every moment of it. Here's the scoop. Christine's serving up some snarky and funny content. It's all in good fun. When she gets under my skin, I simply scroll past her posts or hit the fast forward button. Cody brought this all up upon himself by constantly prodding the bear. Now he's even targeting Amos after essentially leaving Mary hanging since God knows how long. Why can't she move on and find happiness, Cody? If you just keep the OG3 names out of your conversations, they'll happily reciprocate. Oh, my bad. Your colossal ego won't allow for that. I'm thinking they might need to construct a McMansion 2.0. The current house is just too cramped for Cody and his ego to coexist. Guess what? Cody's whispering about Mary's new beau, Amos now. The juicy theory making the rounds is that he's the mastermind behind these scandalous articles. Word on the street is he's been married 4 times and had a bankruptcy. Even if all of that was quite a few years back, for example, his bankruptcy incident was a quarter of a century ago, as was his first 2 marriages. Rumor has it he's quite the ex-wife stalker. Can we trust the gossip mill? Well, who knows? But here's the kicker. Those bankruptcy and 4 marriages tales ended up in magazines closely connected to the show. So, the plot thickens. Christine's out with her man, and guess who's still lurking in the shadows? That's right, our very own Cody the Clown, taking up space like it's his birthright. Realistically, he probably will for a while. I mean, they were together for what feels like an eternity, with all the kids, drama, and let's not forget the not-so-nice things he said about her. But here's the deal, folks. Christine can post about her wonderful David 1,000 times a day if she wants. After all, queens don't sweat the opinions of mere sheep, right? Now, here's the burning question. Do I stand alone in thinking that Codex will be lingering around for quite some time? I mean, Christine spent a significant chunk of her life with him. It's only natural that it'll take more than a few years to put him out of her head. Am I the only one feeling this way? Well, I can only speak from my own life experience after all. It's entirely reasonable for every brown, current, and former to take their sweet time unpacking their lives. And don't even get me started on the kids. Their experiences vary wildly from Logan to Truly. Now, here's a thought. Therapy. It's hard work requiring introspection, patience, and grace. The adult Browns have shown a bit of aversion to the medical field. But hey, who knows? Maybe most of the kids will give it a shot in their own time. As for Cody, well, I've got a tissue box right beside me, and I'm ready to eat it if he ever decides to go for therapy. That's all from me today, everyone. Talk to you another time on another video. Peace out.